Welcome back. I'm Real Talk with Thea, and we're having an amazing conversation about how our life has been affected without our moms in it. And I'm here with three lovely guests, Miss Cherie, Louise, and Julie. And we all four of us have something in common. We all lost our mothers at different ages and different stages in our life, but we have a lot of things in common that we have been discussing and we have been talking about. And before the break, we was talking about losing our mother, and I was saying that how I felt angry. You know, I felt cheated because I felt that there was a way that my mom's death could have been prevented. As many of you know or don't know, she died in childbirth. And so I just felt like because of her choice, it left me to grow up without a mother. And I was angry for many, many years. And I can remember I was watching, my biggest thing was, for me, is I hated Mother's Day. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of despise anything that had to do with appreciating mothers or kids eat at lunch with their mothers, their parents, or whatever. I just really hated those moments. And then when I had children, I thought that would go away, but it didn't. It was just even more. But I put on this mask or this facade in front of my children because I didn't want them to pay for my pain. And so, like Mother's Day, you know how the kids make little things for you and bring them in, you know, and I'd be smiling on the outside, but on the inside, I was just so angry and so hurt. And I went on for years with that, but then I remember one day, and I think the kids were up in age 10 or 12 or something, and we were doing the Mom, go sit down, we got your Mother's Day, you know, type of thing, and I had got up to go to the bathroom. Well, in my room, I had left the TV on, and many of you guys probably know who Bishop T.D. Jakes is. Well, he was on, but you know, I wasn't paying no attention, and I had went in the bathroom because I had got choked up because I could feel the stuff coming up about my mom and everything. And I remember in the bathroom, and I heard him saying some stuff. He was saying that, oh, it's Mother's Day, I'm looking around in the audience, and y'all with your mothers dress so good, and y'all gonna go out to dinner and all this, you know, and I'm just in the bathroom, and I'm bawling, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, but the message I have today is not for you guys who have your mother. It's for those who don't have their mother, who can't celebrate this special day. And like I said, I don't know if my head fell in the sink or whatever. I was just toe up, you know. And then the thing that grabbed me, he said, if you're a mother and you don't have a mother, he said, and if you're blessed, God bless you with children, he said, give your children everything that you long for from your mother.
That's right.
And I tell you, that was the day, oh God, I'm getting emotional, excuse me. That was the day that my life changed to where I wanted a best friend. I could always vision, you know, as a little girl, you grow up and you have the doll house and you say, oh, get married and got, you know, and I always had in my mind that if my mother was here, me and my mother would be the best friends. I remember a girl, and I'm not going to say her name because I haven't talked to her to even give her name, but her and her mother, everywhere you've seen them, they was together. And I mean, she's up in her 20s and 30s, and her mom would be at the store together, they holding hands, and I always looked at that and I was like, that's how I envisioned for me and my mom. You know what I'm saying? I was like, my mom wouldn't have to worry about nothing. My mom, there was nothing before she could think about asking for something, I would be there. And so that moment, I started giving everything to my children, and something just came over me, and I wasn't angry anymore. You understand? I just wanted to be the best. And you know, being a parent, you have to be careful because a lot of times is you can't be their best friend.
That's right.
And try to be their parent at the same time. And it was more of like, my daughter was, to me sometimes, my little sister that I had lost. You know what I'm saying? She was like my mom, and my relationship that I had in my head, you know, we had those kind of things, but I always tried to, with God help, keep a balance to where I'm still your mother. You know what I'm saying? So that message changed my whole life, and I started giving those things, and I started, I was always active with my kids, but it just made me, you know, gave me that drive to where it was like, mother-daughter day, I'm going, you know what I'm saying? Son and daughter day, you know, so you can take a negative and make a positive. Some people can't bounce back from pain. And as we were talking over the break, you know, because you guys don't get the real good stuff that we're talking, but we were talking over a break, and Miss Cherie was saying about how the difference between Louise and Julie, they were actually there when their mother passed away. Her mother was 1,000 miles away. You know what I'm saying? That nobody, but you said some lady was there with her.
It was, well, she actually moved down there with a boyfriend. And then 2 weeks later, she had a asthma attack so severe that she went brain dead. He wasn't even at the hospital with her. It just was a nurse that was there. And during that time, I wasn't financially secure to, or had the funds to go down there and get her. And so she passed away like 2 days after that. And we had to rush and come up with this money to get her body up here because they said if we didn't have her body transfer within 48 hours, they were going to donate her body parts to the college.
So you're saying that most of your hurt and pain came from that your mom is in a state to where she don't know anybody, and that her loved ones are not there when she's pretty much saying her goodbyes. I mean, I can imagine the, you know what I'm saying, the guilt or the hurt or the, you know, all these different things that, you know, different from what they were experiencing. But like I said, it just, the 12 years old, I just cannot get past that, you know, because, and everybody can say, well, Miss Deer, you were 3, but yeah, 3, I don't remember the stuff now that I thought I remembered. I don't know if it was just from somebody telling me over and over and I kind of remembered it, you know what I'm saying? But to be 12, and we were talking again on the break, and where Louise was saying that here her mom is depositing all this stuff in her and telling her what she needs her to do and what she needs to be. At 12, are you guys listening to me? 12 years old, you understand? And the difference is, look at her now. You know, and you say, how does a 12-year-old be able to grow up? And she said she had her daughter at a young age, and that's when she kicked in and said, I need my mom, I need my mom. So what we were talking about is that train up your child, because nobody knows when is our last day. Parents out there, we get so careless, and we feel like, or you young kids, you feel like, oh, my mom gonna be here forever. We all hope that. We all wish that be the case, you understand? But it's important as parents, if you're out there listening to us, sitting on this couch today talking, don't take life for granted. You understand? Instill things on your kids. I always say that we're here as parents. A good parent is not someone who can buy their kids the latest Jordans. Not someone who can put the best hair in their kids' hair or the best outfits. It's sharing those moments. And I want to take a few minutes to talk to you guys about some of the moments that you remember, because Julie, you were saying that yours were, you got pictures where y'all rolling all over the floor, you and your mom. Those are things that, here you are, 30-something years old.
37.
37. Those are things that stick out. You understand what I'm saying? You were talking about on the break, you said that pretty much, you know, y'all wasn't into no Jordans and your mom wasn't into buying you things, but the things that she did with you, the time that she spent with you, it makes you who you are today.
Right? You don't understand growing up, like the things that your mother do, like she was saying, and you saying train up your child. You don't understand all of the things that are being deposited into you until you actually have to use them. Because like with growing up, my mom was a free spirit. She did what she wanted to.
Yeah.
She did what she wanted to, and like some people be like, oh, my mom wasn't there for me or whatever, and they try to place that for some kind of mess up they doing. No, I feel like, and even when I was younger, and I still wasn't, I mean, you still learn every day, but when I was younger, it just used to wreck my nerves to hear people say, oh, my mom wasn't there. Okay, your mom wasn't there, but that gives you options. You can either take that and use that as a way of how to raise your child or how not to raise your child. And like I'm saying, my mom wasn't there a lot physically, but she made sure I knew what I needed to know. She made sure I never went without anything. So for me with my kids, raising them, and them, I mean like depositing the stuff into them, you don't really know you doing it until you hear yourself say something your mom used to say.
Right, because that was one of the things I was going to ask. But before we go further with that, I wanted to say is like, how is that though, Julie? Because so many people get stuck at the part. You're saying that, you know, you hear people say, well, my mom wasn't there for me. My mom wasn't there. Okay, your mom wasn't there, but that gives you options. You can either take that and use that as a way of how to raise your child. You understand what I'm saying? But you hear people say, my mother wasn't there for me and this and that, and they go through their life and that. But then it's like you and me. We made it past that hump. But some people can't get past that thing. So what would you say to them? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we feel like, well, they ain't getting over there because they don't want to, or, you know, or they just, you know, whatever the reason. But what can you say to someone today that has lost a mother or felt like their mother hasn't been there in their life or hasn't divided? What can you say to them that will encourage them to live or to, you know what I'm saying? What message would you have for those who just say, I'm messing up because my mom ain't never been there and I ain't never had a role model, I never had.
They're not looking, like our talks, they're not looking into it, they're looking at it. Because if you look into it, you will see that, okay, she's not there, but I promise you, I bet, anytime that you were with her or she was with you, she did something or said something or showed you something, you know, that you can use as a learning tool.
Right.
It's something that your mother did to show you, even if it's giving you to an aunt or uncle or something, you have to look at that. She did that because apparently she wasn't able to take care of you. And if she gave you away, she was looking for your best interest. Okay, I can either drag my kid around me and do all this, that, and the other, and know it's gonna hurt my child, or I can put my child where it's stable.
Right.
I mean, you have to look into it. It's a learning. It's something you can learn from in every situation.
Right. I think it also too is being able to communicate. We were talking about being real, being able to communicate to. It's okay to say I'm angry.
Yes.
It's okay to say my mom was a drug addict and I feel like she just cared more about the drug. It's okay to talk about those things. You understand? But don't let that you just stay stuck right there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because everybody has a story.
Right.
And just when you think your story is worse, get to talking to people, you know what I'm saying? You'll see that, hey, like you were saying, there were some things, and I always tell my kids, the older they get, the smarter I become. You understand?
Because we're learning just as...
Exactly. And none of us had really, parenting doesn't come with instructions.
Exactly.
We take some of the stuff that our parents taught us, some of the experiences that we've had, and we blend it all into one to try to raise our children the best that we know how. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and it's rough. So I want to ask real quickly, before we go to break, everybody just close your eyes for one second. Okay, now, with your eyes closed, when you open it, I want you to, while your eyes is closed, I want you to think about your mom. Nobody else but your mom. Just sit for a few seconds. Think about your mom. Now open your eyes. What was the first memory that popped into your mind about your mom? Cherie.
Her smile.
Her smile.
Her smile and cleaning up to that Betty Wright record.
Her dancing in front of me while I was in labor. I promise you. That's where Cheryl got her name from.
Is it?
Yeah, they was talking about push. I'm on 10 with the contractions, and Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That song was on, and she was in front of me. I mean, getting it in front of the TV. Oh, I'm like,
But that's
really?
her. That's her. Yeah.
Really? I'm over here painting, you dancing? So that's where Cheryl's name came from.
So now, when you talk to other people, what do they say about your mom? Like for me, I know this older guy, and like I said again, I'm not gonna say his name, but he used to always say, like every time he see me, he was always like, "You look just like your mama." You know, you have your mother's strength. My father, you know, he's no longer with us either, but he would just say, my boldness. He was like, you have your demeanor, your whole makeup is your mom. He said your mom was the sweetest woman in the world, but just don't cross her the wrong way. And I look at that and I can see that. You know what I'm saying? And that's when people tell me about my mom, because like I said, I look at my mom's pictures that we have, I think my sister in Florida looks just like my mom. You know what I'm saying? I don't really see it. My fiance, he told me like right around in here or something that, you know, I look like her. But when people talk to me or they, you know, I ask about my mom, that's what they say. So what do they say about people? What do they say about your mom?
She lived her life. I mean, it's not. I promise you, and I'm not. I'm not gonna say I blocked it out or nothing. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about my mom as far as the type of person she was. And like when I like see or meet older people that's not related to me, 9 times out of 10 it's in a bar somewhere. And what they said, girl, you a dancing fool just like your mom.
Dancing fool. What about you, Louise?
Basically, that my mom was just a phenomenal woman and she loved her daughters.
Yeah. What about you?
Now, my mom was very strong, and she was a very opinionated person, and I got that from her, like the angry part.
But you were saying also during the break, you said your mom was really hard or growing up, like tough love or something like that. When you said, what exactly do you mean by that? Like,
As in, like, she didn't really do too much of the, like, I love you and hugs and stuff like that. It was mainly rules. If you do what you're supposed to do, I mean, we got rewarded and stuff like that, but she wasn't real keen on, I love you. I mean, I knew she loved us and stuff, but I don't know, she wasn't the type of person to say or do any of that.
so you didn't get a lot of that emotional.
Yeah.
See, exactly. That's the one thing. And you know what? I think that affected me a lot in a lot of relationships, and whether, boyfriend, girlfriend relationships or friend relationships, is that I felt that part was missing in my life too. That. And so what I did, because how many of you know that when you don't have something or something is going the wrong way, all you have to do is flip it the other way.
That's right.
You understand? That's how you break any cycle or whatever. You do the opposite. And so with my kids are big and they sit on my lap and I hug them and I kiss them and tell them I love them. And some of my nieces, they be like, oh, they too big for that. And I'm like, that's what I long for. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you're saying, that, your mom didn't give you a lot of that, but you knew she loved you. But would you say that still you would like more of that in your life?
Yeah, because now I try to do that with my daughter, but she's the opposite. She doesn't want, like how it was with my mom, like I wanted the affection and stuff. With her, it's like she rather just do her. She don't care about the mother. You know
Give
what
me
I'm saying?
something,
Unless it's something to benefit her, then she wants the mom, and but other than that, it's do her. And or when she's mad, like as she says, like a lot of people when they get in trouble or whatever and they want to blame, there's a lot of stuff that happened to me, but I don't blame my mom for it, you know what I'm saying? Like she said, like Julie said, it's a learning experience. But like with certain, like my daughter, I was locked up for like 4.5 years of her life. And I talked to her about the years, and like we're good. We'll have a good relationship. Then when she's mad because something happened and she didn't got cut up, well, because you did this when you weren't there, when da 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 da, and like I'm telling her, you can't keep on living. You know what I'm saying? I can't make up for the time. I'm, you know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to be a better parent than than my mom was. I'm trying to be there. But then you can't keep on trying to bring that up to make me try to feel sorry for your actions.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
And I think a lot of that is going on. And the best advice I can give you is just let her know nobody's perfect.
Amen.
You understand? But if you don't get a grip on that and see that I'm not a perfect parent, but I'm doing the best that I know how, it's going to stunt your growth, not mine.
That's right.
Because regardless if she's doing bad or good or whatever, I'm still going to be there regardless.
Exactly.
Right?
But then also it's like it's her choice.
Yeah.
You understand? And let her know that you're acting out is your choice. You're not doing this because I was locked up. You're doing this because you choose to use this, and you're trying to go back and you're trying to find a crutch, which is going to stunt your growth.
Yes.
You understand? And that's what I think the most important thing that we need to teach our kids and our daughters and everything. So what would you say, because all of us as mothers, what would you, if I would talk to your kids today, what kind of mother would they say you are? Sheree, let's start with you.
They say that I'm very strict. Like, I want stuff in order. House clean, you know what I'm saying? Do your chores. If you do the rules, my rules are no lying. Follow the rules. You can do that. I don't care what, you have all the stuff that you can do. I take care of them. I buy the material things. I mean, I know that doesn't take up for it, but they like that stuff. I didn't have it as a kid. So what I didn't have, I want my kids to have.
Right.
But other than that, I just don't lie to me, because I'm your parent. You shouldn't lie to me about anything. You should be wanting to come and tell me anything, regardless if it's bad or good.
So it doesn't sound like you're strict. It sounds like you're just trying to set a path for them to go down to kind of help them, and it seems like you're taking what you've learned and the things that you did bump your head. You're trying to prevent them from doing it. So, as I would say, as I
I don't
said,
trust a lot of people with them, so
right.
I'm really like, I don't know, more like sheltered, because I don't want my kids to hurt, because if they do, then I'm ready to go up to the school and hurt somebody.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to do my kids wrong, and I've had so much stuff happen to me in the past that I don't trust my kids around a lot of people.
Right.
So there's certain people I won't let them be around, family or friends.
Right.
I I'm trying to protect my kids.
So they would pretty much say just cause they don't understand, right? And
Yeah.
like I said, as I would say how my kids are, I say the older that she becomes, the smarter you become.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? What about you, Louise? What would your daughter say the type of mom you are?
I believe that Jatavia would say that I'm the type of mother that teaches her to live life with a purpose with whatever she does. Set a goal, reach it, stay focused, learn of herself, but above all, keep God first.
All right. What about usually what if I talk to your children today?
True.
What kind of I already know what she gonna say. But what kind of mother would your kids say you are?
I promise to God, I don't know. One will probably say I'm the best mom ever. The other one will probably call me mean. One of them probably two of them probably call me mean, strict, something, and two of them love me so hard. So if I take that and add that together, me myself would think that they think that I'm a loving mother, but a strict mother. I'm not even gonna. No, I won't say strict, but you got to do right to get what you want. I'm not gonna just let you do what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So probably I probably get
A parent that has boundaries.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, a teaching. There you go.
But my kids always said I was strict, you know, and as they got older, I've still talked to them, and my son was like, well, Mom, you was just a little overbearing, because, you know, I was one of the parents. I need to know who you're hanging with. You know, I always felt, and a lot of that comes from our upbringing.
Yeah.
You know, and I was always said this way. I said, okay, well, if you say, Mom, I'm going to Jimmy's house. Who's Jimmy?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I said, and then I said, put it this way. I said, you said you're going to Jimmy's house. And I said, okay. And then all of a sudden something happened to you. I don't know where you at. I can't find, and the police come to my house, and they said, well, where did he say he was going? To Jimmy's? Jimmy who?
Yeah.
And then they'd be like, well, what kind of parent are you? Don't know who your kids is. You know what I'm saying? I said, so that's the reason why. And I said, another thing was that I was strict. Well, they figure strict, but they see now, because now they can go on ScottCounty.com and they can see kids that was in their school, in their age, get locked up and going to prison and all this stuff. And I say, the thing of it is, ignorant parents raise ignorant children. So if I know your parent to be ignorant, guess what? My kids ain't hanging around.
That's right.
So if they want to hang out, have them come over to my house. Because why? I'm going to be here with my kids. I'm going to watch what's going on. There ain't going to be no, you know, oh, they laughing, I was asleep, you know, so, and now that they're older, they see that. Because every time something happens to somebody that's in their age bracket, who get a phone call? Mom, remember you told us about so-and-so? Well, he locked up, well, she locked up, you know what I'm saying? And so, again, the older they get, the smarter I become. So, I've always tried to be the fun mom, but again, I never tried to be my kid's friend.
Right.
We did things like friends,
Yeah.
but I always kept that line that you don't cross. I'm not your girlfriend. Even when my kids started, you know, with the phones and texting and all that, my daughter be in the other room, she texted me, get in here. Come talk to me. You understand what I'm saying? Don't text me and ask me, can you do anything? Come and talk to me. So a lot of our teachings that we got was from our parents.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's great that each one of us, you know what I'm saying, even though I wasn't fortunate like you guys to even have a relationship with your mother, God placed a grandmother in my life. You understand? That did the best that she knows how. And so to say that, I say this. You may not have your mother for whatever reason it is, but I guarantee you, you're not out there by yourself. There's somebody, whether it's an auntie, whether it's a sister, whether it's a teacher. I had a counselor at school to where I act out. The only reason why I act out is because I wanted that attention. And she's seen that. She's seen the potential in me. And a lot of them out there, these young kids out there, that's what they need, somebody that can see the potential in them. You know, and then as parents too, I want to say too, stop feeling guilty for your kids' behavior. You understand?
Yes.
Once you train them in the way that you can go, with the way they can go, you know what? If they waver off that path, you know, our biggest problem is we don't want, as you were saying, we don't want nothing to happen to our kids. We don't want them to hurt. We don't want, but the very thing we don't want to happen in their life is the very thing they need to happen.
That's right.
So that God can get a hold to them. You understand? Because a lot of times it's mama. Mama's supposed to say that. Have you ever had it to where your kids, they'll come back and tell you, well, I talked to Louise and we said, and you looking at them like, I told you that 19 times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But sometimes they have to hear
Yes.
other people
Yes.
say it because they think, oh, I did mama. Mama won't say that because she's mama. You understand? But they have to experience some things. So sometimes you got to let them bump their head. Even though we know we don't want them to bump their head, they have to do that. Because then that shapes and molds them just like us. How many times we bumped our
That's
heads?
right.
That ain't happening.
If we pull the skull back, I bet you we got lumps and bumps everywhere.
I mean, I got a concussion.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that the stories that we sat here and shared, there was one more question I want to ask before we're going to close out here. I can't think of what it was. What teachings, that's what I want to say, that your mother taught you that you catch yourself doing it to your kids? What are some of the things, or one thing, just give me one thing that you do, like me, with my kids, like my grandmother, she would always, what's the thing, now I kind of lost my thought. I'm going to come back to me because I can't think right now. But what one thing that you can say, Cherie, that reminds you of your mom when you catch yourself doing it to your kids, that your mom did?
As soon as the adults come or I got visitors,
Go
I
say
give
it
them
again.
this
Say it.
look, and they already know that little mean to go upstairs and
Exactly.
go play or something.
There you go. How important is that? Isn't that
Yeah,
important?
Very, very
Yeah.
important. Very.
One thing I cannot
stand.
stand is a kid and grown folks
That's
conversation.
Yeah.
And repeat and then can go
Woo!
repeat everything.
When you talking and they jump in, yeah, mama, when you and Julian was, oh, my kids already knew.
That's
When
right.
they see grown folks, they gonna
Remove
speak to
yourself.
everybody, and they
Go
go about their
by
business.
serious. Go by
I
serious.
cannot stand kids and grown, and I can also stand grown-ups telling the kids all their business.
Right.
That's right.
I use as needed. I use things that I experienced to help my kids and show them, because I never want my kids to think that mom was perfect and that I can't come and tell mom nothing because mom never experienced that. And you know, I said, but to a certain extent, you just don't tell all your kids all your business, and you know, and then your kid grow up and they hating certain people, and then you wonder why. You know what I'm saying? Why is this going on? Because of your talk you having at home.
That's right.
You know, if you got a beef with Julie, don't sit there in front of your little daughter, because you know what? The little daughter, when y'all go to the reunion, sit there, why don't my mom like Julie? My mom don't like your mom. She don't like your mom either.
Okay,
You understand what I'm saying?
It trickles down.
Yes,
It trickles
because
down.
once the parent feel like they, and then the kid done heard it, then the kid is gonna have an opinion about a person. Well, my mom don't like you, so I don't like you.
Exactly.
So that's one thing. That's a good one. Like she said, when adults is around, you give them kids a look, that mean get gone.
That's right.
What about you, Louise?
To respect adults.
Oh.
Like if an adult say something to me that's out of the way or do something to me that I feel wasn't pleasing, bring it to her, and as the mother, she'll handle
Yes,
it.
Y'all
yes,
say that again?
yes.
Did we catch that on camera?
Yes.
I hope we got that on camera. Okay. What about you, Julie?
I do not. She talking about respect. I do not like little rude kids. If
Ooh.
you come in the house after school, and I'm sitting there with somebody, don't come in the house and not speak. You didn't leave to them people. You didn't wake up to speak and go on about your way. I can't. Don't just come in my house and walk past everybody. You didn't speak. And if I got to remind you, it's just gonna make me mad.
I'm sure I
Don't.
right.
Don't. Yeah. You respect your elders. That's what it is.
And it's such a lack of respect.
Oh,
You know
Lord
what?
Jesus.
I've always taught my kids this, y'all, and this is a very valuable lesson to you parents out there. Y'all need to pull it together, because you know what? They're not building any more schools. They're building more jail cells for these kids. And one thing I've learned, and I've always stuck with, do not uphold your kid when they're wrong.
That's
Baby.
right.
Do not. Because what you're saying to that child is it's okay for you to behave in that manner, and you set them up for failure. I've always told my kids, because my kids are 21 and 18. You can pick up the phone and call them right now. And from day one, I've always told them, I said, what 2 things mom don't like? And they'll tell you, lying and stealing.
There, come on.
I
Can't
said,
stand it.
you tell me the truth, I'll back you every step of the way. I told my kids, I said, if you, and when you said about the respecting elders, I told my kids, a teacher can call you a nappy-headed black Negro. Guess what?
You better not say nothing.
Don't say nothing back. Say, excuse me, get outside if you got a cell phone, which you didn't at that time.
Yeah.
Go to the office, and next thing you call your mama.
That's right.
And I know my son's, he probably edit this part out, but I'm going to say this one real quick. When he was in junior high school, and he used to come home all the time and tell me about this teacher being mean to these kids. And I said, well, baby, I said, the only thing about it is, I said, I'm not their parent. So I can't really go up to the school and say, my son said, these kids, the parent has to get involved.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? And so I said, one day he'll slip up and he'll mess with the wrong kid.
Yeah.
Every time I say that, they're not my kids. So next thing you know, my son comes home and he says, this dude called him called him stupid. And if anybody know my son, since he was old enough to get grades, he's been a straight A student. So I said, okay, mama, handle that. I got up, I went to the school. Now I talked to the principal, and the guy was standing outside, the one that I needed to speak with, the teacher. So I let them talk, and my son was standing on the side of me, and I said, excuse me. I said, my son told me that you called him stupid. And I said, well, I hope that's the Ebonics term for smart, because I've never seen a straight A student kid, with all A's be stupid. He says, I didn't say that. And so immediately, my son, yes, you did, yes, you did. I said, bow. Popped him right in his mouth. The all teeth, they all looking around like, I said, who's the adult? I got this. You stand here and be still.
That's right.
You understand? And so a lot of people are like, oh, you did what? You've got to teach your children the place. You got to teach them, because see, if he's right there with me disrespecting an adult, what is he going to do when I'm not around?
That's right.
You understand? When mama shows up, I got this. You understand what I'm saying? And so I put that teacher politely in his place and let him know, you got the wrong child, buddy. And I think a lot of times little Johnny bad for you send him to school. Don't go up there acting a fool with the teacher and snapping out on her when you know little Johnny is
That's
bad.
right.
You understand? Their job is not to train your children how to be respectful and everything. That's your job.
That's right.
And I think if we do it at home, and thank God for the women that were in our lives, our mothers, you know what I'm saying? My grandmother, I love her to death, may she rest in peace. She taught me and made me who I am today. I instilled it in my kids, and that's the thing about it is, as I always tell my kids, nobody owes you nothing.
That was one of my
If
favorites.
you want it, get out. My grandma would always
Get
tell
out
me.
and get
And
it.
another thing she would say, you can't get mad about nobody else's stuff.
That's
Sure.
right.
Sure.
And I'm like, huh? She said, don't get mad. If don't nobody want to give you a ride, that's their problem.
That's
They don't have to pick you up.
That's
You know what I mean?
right.
They don't want to give you their money. They don't have to.
That's
Go get your own.
That's
And you know
right.
what? That was stuck in me from day one.
I got so much stuff stuck in my head from that woman.
You understand what I'm saying?
I-
And it's all good. And some things you have to sit back and say, no, Grandma was going. I ain't gonna use that part. You
Yeah,
understand what
we gonna
I'm
leave
saying?
that.
You know what I'm saying? dog?
Yeah.
That's a killer right there. Some of the words Grandma used,
Yeah.
we'll go to jail. Abuse was saying some of that stuff. We'll be locked up. We didn't have to hit them, but we said something. We just killed them.
It's honestly more learning stuff from her that I put into my kids than I do with my mom, because I was still so young when she passed, and then I got to be around grandmama and really experience her as we growing into an adult.
Yeah.
Baby, one of my favorite things to tell my kid is what she. If I ain't got it, you don't need it.
That's it. Oh, give me. That's it. If your mom, if I ain't got it, your grandpa ain't got it, you don't need it.
I'm telling you, I tell my kids that that is.
That's
what
it.
I can't. Don't
And then-
ask nobody for nothing.
And you better not. And what she say, no, Louise, if you ain't got but $1 in your pocket, nobody ain't need to know about it. Hold your head up and keep on moving. You understand what I'm saying? She said, people ain't got to know your business.
Sure don't.
And she taught us, and one thing that I always think about with my grandmother is that she taught us to be strong women. But one thing is, I had to learn to kind of critique a little bit
Yes.
about, because you hear everybody, oh, I'm an independent woman, independent. The only difference is, that's fine, as long as you ain't with nobody.
That's right.
But
That's
when
how
you
she
in a
works.
relationship, that's got to shift a little bit.
She cursed us with that.
She did.
She
She
cursed
did.
us with that.
Because we'll give
We
you
don't
in a
know
minute.
we don't know how to let other people help us.
Yeah, oh,
because
my Lord.
It seems like it's always an underlying something. Like,
Yes.
what you doing?
I've argued
Yeah.
with my husband
Yeah.
about that. He was like, when we first got married, like the first few years, I'm like, I'm used to doing it by myself.
Yeah.
I don't ask people for nothing.
Yeah.
I hate
That's
to ask
grandma.
somebody for
That's
something. I
grandma.
don't want
That's
nobody to
grandma.
say they did this.
Look what I
Right.
did. That's
Yes.
your grandma.
Yes.
That's your grandma.
So I ask
Cry.
nobody for nothing. I don't, if I gotta hustle it, I'ma hustle it to get it. 'Cause I'm not gonna
She
ask you.
cursed us.
And he was like, well, I'm your
husband.
husband. I'm supposed to do this for you. I said, but you don't understand. Like, why you doing it? At first, like when we first got together, why you giving me rides? Ain't nobody never gave me no rides. Like,
I get on the bus.
I walk
I'm like, what's up? Well, I'm just trying to, and I mean, he didn't try to even have relations or nothing. It was just, you know what I'm saying? Just
Right.
trying to.
That's what I'm
He was trying to
saying.
gain your
Some-
trust.
Yeah.
Some of the things that she taught us, like I said, you have to get to a point to say, okay, that worked then, but then now I gotta kind of shift it
That's
here.
right.
And it's the same thing with raising your children. You know, without your mom being there, whatever she did instill in you, you take that and you apply it to your kid's life and what you've already learned. You understand? So it's kind of like taking the best of both and putting them together and just trying to find a path for both of them. We can talk forever, ladies and gentlemen, about life without our parents. But what I want to say is I appreciate each and every one of my wonderful guests that came out to share with us about their experience without their mothers, the ups and the downs, and how they raised their children, the things that they remember the most about them, the teachings that they gave. And I just want to say to every one of you guys out there in TV land, YouTube land, Facebook land, or whatever, we hope that there's something that we've said that will cause you to change your mind or cause you to think about the people that are in your life that your parent. If you have a parent that you're not speaking to, for whatever reason it is, go mend those fences. Sit down and talk with them, because a lot of times we don't understand where people come from. And when you don't understand where people come from, you don't understand why they respond the way that they do. You know, you may have a fairy tale in your head like I did of what I expect from my mom and what my mom was going to be. And a lot of times that can deter you and cause you to be frustrated because you don't think you have a certain amount of money. Neither one of us can pick who our parents are. But you it's entrusted in you to respect them, to love them, and whatever you feel like you're lacking in your life, take a look around you. There's always something that can fulfill that void. And so once again, thank you Julie, Louise, and Cherie for being on this show. Stay tuned. We have another show coming shortly. I appreciate every one of you guys. And go ahead, when we upload the video, go ahead and leave your comments. If this helped you, reach out. You can get in touch with me at Real Talk with Thea. I have a Facebook page there that you can inbox me. Let me know what you think about our show, or if you have any questions about anything, I'll be happy to help you. Till next time, be good to yourself. Bye.